Welcome to the Spotlight Series. I'm your host, Scott Nerney from the Rhode Island Wave. We have a great guest today, Kristin Caproni from Medicare Insurance Advisor. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
I'm glad you came by to talk a little bit about Medicare and supplement plans, but let's talk a little bit about yourself and your background first.
Sure. I have a 35-year background in social services. Most recently, before I became a licensed Medicare agent, I worked in housing, low-income senior housing for 11 years. That's where I actually was introduced to Medicare because a lot of people had Medicare insurance concerns. And I live in East Greenwich with my partner, my 3 cats.
I have 3 cats too.
Do you?
Yes. Isn't that awesome?
One of them I adopted from when I worked in housing. Yeah, I love them all.
Oh, good.
I always said I'd cap at it too, but...
That was my plan. Didn't work out too well.
Yeah.
Well, good. And when you saw from the housing perspective, you saw the Medicare side. So is that what drove you to really try to become a Medicare advisor?
Yes. I actually, even when I started in housing, I learned everything I could about Medicare. I didn't become a licensed agent working in that capacity, but I learned everything I could so that I could help my residents navigate the ins and outs of different plans and what their needs were. And and I did, I felt like I did a good job at that. And I decided to try my hand at being a licensed agent and seeing if I could make a living at it.
Okay. Let's dispel a couple of myths of people who aren't on Medicare and definitely a separation of I went on Social Security, but I don't get Medicare right away.
Right.
There's that typically at least 3 a year, or if you retire at 62 and wait till 65. And I think the thought of a lot of folks who may be watching this that already have Medicare and aren't sure if they have the right plan is someone that would be a welcome asset to you.
Yes.
And someone who's thinking about, well, in another year or two, I have to go on that. I just pay one bill out of my Social Security and it's all covered.
Right.
So that's a big myth.
Oh, yes, it is a big myth.
Let's talk a little bit about what it is that you do for your clients.
Okay. Well, a little bit related to what you were talking about.
Sure.
I do help people who are new to Medicare apply for Medicare if they need that kind of help. And then once they are on Medicare, they can join a plan. You're correct. When you start collecting Social Security, you don't automatically qualify. You have to qualify at your full retirement age, which is around 65 or 66 these days. Mm-hmm. For me, it's going to be 67, but...
I think I am too, yeah.
Yeah. Or if you've been disabled for 2 years collecting Social Security, then you also qualify for Medicare.
Okay.
So those are the 2 instances. And then you have navigating the plans. Different people have different needs. The plans change from year to year. So it's always good to review your plans every year.
In addition to the plans changing year to year, for new benefits coming in, old benefits not covered, companies making decisions and choices, a person's age could actually determine a different plan that they may need as well?
Sure, absolutely. Some people might need hearing aids or eyeglasses. They might be on a fixed income and have a hard time affording those. Some plans offer a better, option for those types of situations. So,
and how many of your clients do you see go with just Medicare or is it almost always a Medicare and a supplement plan?
Okay, so when a person first becomes eligible for Medicare and Part B, they have their start date, first of whatever month of their retirement. If someone just stays on straight Medicare, they're required to get also a Part D plan for their prescription coverage, or they could face penalty. Medicare alone covers about 20% of all medical costs. So you don't know what those costs are going to be. Also, having straight Medicare, you have deductibles. You have a $1,556 deductible towards your Part A before your Medicare kicks in, and your Medicare Part B deductible is $233. And then you have your standalone drug plan, which usually at least costs a small premium. If you join a Medicare Advantage plan, you have fixed rates for your different services. Normally they're they're either equal or less expensive than being on straight Medicare, but you know what they're going to be ahead of time. And they also provide ancillary benefits like vision, dental, and hearing, which if you have straight Medicare, you don't receive, it doesn't cover that.
So there's a lot of perks, but you have to really pay attention to what you're looking at.
Yes.
So the difference between talking to you and I feel like I'm understanding a little bit more. There's straight what you get from the government, which leaves a lot of holes. And then there's a separate plan that helps fill some of those gaps. But talking to you is much different than talking to J.J. Walker or Joe Namath on TV, who tells me I'm going to get money back just by getting insurance. Which
Right.
I really don't buy that whole story. I think dealing with you is a lot more informed than just some random phone call.
Absolutely. It's much more personal. I'm there all throughout the year. If someone has a question or billing issue, and if you call that 1-800 number you initially called, for JJ,
Yeah.
you don't know who you're going to get. It's not going to be
Right.
the same person every time.
And not facing what our current state may be specializing in, or what
Yes.
services may be promoted here, or what is or isn't available.
Exactly. Exactly.
And the other question I had was, when you're looking at all of these different plans, if we're talking to the audience out there, and if our audience member is 70 or 65 or 80, that's one group of folks.
Right.
But if we're talking to folks who are 35, 40, 50 years old, it's not too late for them to help their parents or their grandparents who may be looking at very tough healthcare costs,
Yes.
where you can work with both them and their older relative.
Absolutely. Actually, today I have a kiosk at Walmart in North Kingstown, and the daughter of an elderly lady came to my table and asked me some questions. Her mother's moving up from Florida and has some issues, cataracts, and needs hearing aids. And I helped her go over a few plans, and we're going to sit down with her mother at some point and fit her into the right one.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always think being prepared is better, and looking out for our older generation really makes a difference. I applaud you for doing that, because
Oh, thank you.
it's not just a sign-up period, it's being there throughout the year that makes a difference in these people's lives.
Exactly. And there's also, a lot of people think that the only time that they can enroll in a plan or change their plan is in the fall annual enrollment period. But there are other instances where they can change their plan during the year. There's an enrollment period if they're unhappy with the Medicare Advantage plan that they joined, they could switch. Or if they receive Medicaid or extra help for their prescriptions, they qualify once every 3 months to switch their plan. And some plans have 5 stars, and those plans Medicare allows them to have them join that plan up to the end of September of every year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So how can people reach out to you?
Well, they can reach out to me by phone,
Okay,
which is going to be posted on the screen,
sure.
and my website, or by email. And as I said, they can also find me at Walmart North Kingstown through March 31st.
Okay,
Yeah.
you'll be there with a smile
I'll
and
be there
ready
with
to
a
help them?
smile. Yeah, 20 hours a week. So,
Oh, good.
yeah.
Good. I'm really happy you stopped by. There's an awful lot to Medicare and all the gaps and donuts and everything else that falls into it. And for having people like you around to be able to help our seniors figure it out, and family members to help their relatives, it really makes a big difference.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to do it. I really enjoy doing it. And I'm going to continue.
Great.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You're welcome.